learning for a country where
go to the bar.
Ask for help to other people. People are really helpful over here.
Learn English. Hotels is good. Actually, go really nice upscale hotel, ask for help, like traveling for or something.
Could you imagine if you couldn't read, if you couldn't write, if you were dropped in the middle of some country that you couldn't communicate with anybody? It's terrifying, and it's important to help them for themselves and for us. It's a pay it forward. You need to pay it forward. We owe it to the community to pay it forward.
A lot of the people who come to us, the basic literacy people, have different learning styles, and most of our educational system is geared toward visual learners. So many of our students are not. They learn different ways, and so that's why they struggled in school, and that's why they were not successful in school. Many of our students have learning disabilities, dyslexia or some other learning disability, which just prevented them from learning as quickly as they could or as much as they could, and so they come to us, and their progress is slow, but as adults they have their whole life. So they just can keep working at it, and they work with tutors, and they make slower progress but still progressing. Some of it is, and this is a little more controversial, but it's about labeling people in special education. And in some places what happens is once a student is labeled, the expectations are lowered. And so if a student is labeled whatever special education and not challenged enough, people often live down to the expectations that are put on them. And schools don't put high enough expectations on people.
That's interesting. The America that we have in our heads is not the America that we are currently living in. That there's all of these immigrant groups, the Vietnamese and Cambodian immigrants that are, inhabiting a lot of South Philadelphia, the Chinese immigrants that are in Chinatown and Center City, Philadelphia, the African immigrants that are in West Philadelphia, and the ones that I'm tutoring, in Delaware County. These groups offer so much and so much diversity and depth into this world that if people embrace that, they will gain so much, not just in arts and culture, but in the economy, in their own life experiences. When I started volunteering, I thought it was about finding ways for these people to assimilate into our culture. And I've come to realize it's not about assimilating into our culture, it's about finding connection, finding common ground.
Lifted by my wings, crouched on the sill, doing acrobatics, moving from the matter in the air. You wouldn't believe what I saw, a lady in a turban looking at her future telling devices, and she said, "Man, you shouldn't be here, the time isn't right for you. You should have known before coming around. Man, you shouldn't be here, the time isn't right for you. You should have known before coming around." That was on my
2003, the Department of Education, the Federal Department of Education, did a survey, and they estimate that in Delaware County, over 35,000 adults
Oh my goodness.
need basic literacy help, either English as a second language or basic literacy.
The
35,000.
language was the first one, because when you are in another country and you can't communicate really like properly, like struggling and nobody understand, you don't have anybody to help you, and I think that's the first problem. They are here, they have to become part of the country, because you can't be successful here if you don't want to become familiar with this culture. You have to learn English, because it's a country when people speak English, so you have to learn it and try to become more close to the society, because sometimes people especially from our culture, Hispanic culture.
I think English is a good language to know, because anyway it's the most easiest language. When I learned and compared to German, it's a really difficult language. And so anything, if you want to go further in languages, it's good to start with
You
English.
realize that these people are coming to you out of desperation and frustration, and as scared as you are, they are 10 times as scared, because they don't know where else.
Most of the immigrants who come here come because they really, I think, they've reached a tipping point where they know they need to learn English.
Mhm.
If they're going to live here, they need to learn English.